Hello again, and welcome to Interminable Frivolity. This week, I want to talk about something very close to my heart. As a child, my parents read to me prolifically, and now my sister is reading to her son just as much. And uh, and and in the vein of this, I sorted through my childhood book collection to see if there was anything that was remotely appropriate. And so, bundled up a bunch of stuff and sent it off. And then, while we were out and about, I found this 50 fairy stories. And I thought, my goodness, being a big fan of Hans Christian Andersen and the Grimm fairy tales, I thought, why not? Why not? And as you can see, I am getting into I'm right there. I'm into the guts of it. So you can see how much I've read. I'm well and truly into the guts of this thing. And I have to say that these stories are made out to be, for children. Quite frankly, I can only read a couple of these before I go to bed. Actually, I don't read them before I go to bed. I read something fun before I go to bed, because the last time I read this before I went to bed, I actually had nightmares, which tells you just how not children like the fairy stories written for children actually are. Now, I went on a road trip with my parents to the local field days on the weekend, which was lovely. Great weather, great field day. Always a fun thing. And we got into a discussion because Mum just asking me, "What are you reading right now?" And I said, "Oh, I'm reading 50 fairy stories." And oh my goodness! Then she said, "Yeah, when you and your sister were children, we actually did a fair bit of abbreviating until you're a bit older and were in a headspace to deal with it. Because when you think about it, the the stories that are written for children that you're supposed to read them, really, it's nightmare inducing stuff, even in adults. And we were thinking about that because when you think about it, there aren't very many that have very nice endings. So, let's take Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Well, Goldilocks should be done for breaking and entering. That's what she'd be charged with now. She's breaking and entering into somebody's house, stealing their food, trashing the place because she doesn't like the bed, and then she'd be done for common assault because she goes a bit crackers when they come home and get a bit dodgy about the fact that she's just broken into the house, eaten all their food, trashed the place, and then tried to do a run up. So, at the very least, she'd be done for common assault and breaking and entering now. So, that's the first fairy story we've got. The second one we've got is Hansel and Gretel. So, not only no, at the very beginning, that there's child abandonment, and the father doesn't even leave them somewhere nice like a train station where they're going to be found. He takes them into the woods in the middle of the night and dumps his children. That's abandonment, and to start with. So then these two children go wandering aimlessly through the woods, as children are wont to do when they're not supervised, and they come across a house made of candy. So these children, I don't know what kind of respect these, but I mean, well, a parent who takes their children into the bushes and leaves them there can't be, parenting 101. They just start chewing on this lady's house. And then consequently, when said old lady comes out and gets a bit pissy because there are two children chewing on her walls, they bundle her up into the old oven and burn her alive in the oven. And this is an old lady who just got angry about two children chewing on her house. I would get angry if there were two children chewing on my house. I would hope that I would, be a little bit better than But arthritis, old age, she probably needed a hip replaced. Who's going to know what was going on? But again, breaking and entering, the children would be done. Well, no, actually, they didn't break and enter. The lady dragged them inside to give them a scolding and whatnot. But still, that's first-degree murder right there. You're burning somebody alive in their own oven. Willful. Let's just go for first-degree murder. That's enough. That's enough. So they're in juvie. They're in juvie for first-degree murder, and of course that's my phone ringing. So anyway, then what we're doing is, we're going to let's see what's next. Oh, there you go, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So we're going with that, and Snow White is okay. She's cast out by her wicked stepmother, and that's bad enough. Again, another case of child abandonment, and so then she goes to the Seven Dwarves and basically, just invites herself in and just stays there, which is fine because they're okay with that. But then, in order to seek revenge on this woman, when all she's really done is send her out into which isn't great, but it's not a super thing. Um, and then she poisons her. She poisons her, which comes under premeditated first-degree murder, because if you kill somebody in the spur of the moment, then that's bad enough. But but if you poison someone, then you've thought long and hard about that, and you've pretty much she got the apple and gave it to her and this sort of thing. So first degree. So it her, well, depending on how old she is, but I think she would be classified as an adult. Maybe not. She could be in a jail cell next to Hansel and Gretel for first degree murder. Maybe for a bit longer, because they were in the spur of the moment and she had a good long think about that. And and it just goes on and on and on. It's really it's really quite awful. And then and then I got to the fairy stories. Not one of those is happy. One fairy, a guy is a bit rude to a fairy. He doesn't know it's a fairy, and so she turns him into a door knocker. A door knocker. He's a bit rude, and she turns him into a door knocker forevermore. So forevermore, he's a door knocker in the middle of the European winter, having something smashed on his face every time somebody wants to get in. They're grabbing that knocker and they're just bam, 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 and smashing it into his face. I mean, really, yeah. Another one, the poor chap gets turned into a frog, and it just goes on and on and on. There's no good stories that come out of and there's a little boy who is sick in bed, so the counterpane fairy comes out and asks him to pick a square on the counterpane, and so he's picks a thing, and so he goes in and he keeps picking the wrong door. She keeps giving him a bit of a clue, and he keeps picking the wrong door. So then he gets beaten up and thrown out windows and all sorts of things, and then gets the princess, and that, well, he almost has a happy ending, and that's it, he's done. So what kind of a happy story is that? Then there's the little drummer boy who freezes to death on a street with his little matches trying to keep himself warm. Happy days. It just goes, oh, and then you've got the nursery rhymes. Don't get me started on the nursery rhymes. I mean, Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty is a nursery rhyme about somebody falling to their death horribly and then being cannibalized. How is that a children's story? Seriously? And Ring a Ring a Rosie, it's about everybody getting sick and dying of plague. and that's always a nice one. So and it goes on and on, like on and on and on and on. If we were talking about this today, seriously, we would have more people in prison for first degree murder and premeditated first degree murder, breaking and entering, common assault, assault with a deadly weapon. It's just, I don't know what these people who were writing these things, like the Grimm brothers, Hans Christian Andersen, what on earth were their their childhoods like that they were coming up with this stuff? Absolutely horrific. But yeah, I'm all about, because my mother went down and saw my sister's son, and she said that she's even started doing it with him. She'll find a book that he'll want to read, and she'll have a quick skim. And once he gets to a bit that may be a bit unsavory, she will just you know uh, edit. Let's say edit the ending. But she said she doesn't know how much longer she's going to get away with that, because he's a pretty cluey little kid, and there's going to be, soon it's going to be, that's not the way it goes, Grandma. That's not how it happens. So she's going to have to. But anyway, that's my rant for today. Uh, Everybody have a great week and a great weekend. And sorry about the phone ringing in the background there. Should have turned it off. Who knows what's going on through my brain at the moment. But have a great week, and I hope to catch you next week. Okay, bye.